Let's quickly talk about programmatic audio advertising. And this is a full guide. I wanted to explain to you the terms of programmatic audio advertising. So when you hear it, you have a clear idea what we're speaking about. So here is the overview I want you to pay attention to. So programmatic audio refers to the automated buying and insertion of ads during digital audio content, for example, podcasts or radio content. So to buy digital ad, if you want to buy a digital ad programmatically, you will need a demand-side platform with access to audio publishers. And we're not talking about any kind of audio publishers. We're speaking about audio publishers that are in sync with your target audience, right? And in terms of synchronicity, we're speaking about geography. We're speaking about demographics. We're speaking about the type of audio ad campaign that you want to push forward, whether you want to push anything programmatic or native or social media and so on and so forth. And so no matter where you are, there is a great chance that someone nearby is listening to some kind of digital audio, right? I mean, they may have headphones on as they listen to a podcast on the subway, be singing aloud to a Pandora station as they drive to work, or listening to a Spotify playlist on a smart speaker while cooking dinner at home. But no matter where they are listening, they are engaged. They have to be engaged. And this level of engagement is different from what you get from visual, let's say video advertising. Audio advertising is more powerful in that sense. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. And we are going to quickly talk about programmatic audio advertising and explain everything to you from A to Z so you have a clear idea what we're speaking about. So when you think about programmatic audio advertising, geography plays an important role, but most importantly, the demographics, because it doesn't matter if the person is a 35-year-old actually accountant, a 35-year-old mechanic, a 35-year-old athlete, a 35-year-old. It doesn't matter. The demographic is more important than the occupation of the person, and so the person, the listener, is engaged, and so that's one reason why digital audio is an increasingly appealing channel for brands of all kinds and all sizes. But in order to understand how to run programmatic audio ads, you need to have a foundational understanding of digital audio as a whole. So digital audio is an important element that a lot of listeners are paying attention to right now. So let's really talk about that. So here is the approach I really want you to pay attention to. So let me first define for you what digital audio advertising really is. So as you have probably already figured out, when we talk about digital audio, we're basically referring to streaming audio of multiple types. So generally music, podcasts, or digital radio. And digital audio advertising can refer to the ads that run during a listening session, as well as sponsorships. For example, when a host of a podcast announces an episode is sponsored by blah, 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 a specific brand, right? So this really tells you a lot that this is kind of a foundational if you want to understand digital audio advertising. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's conversation, the topic. We are talking about programmatic audio advertising, and I'm giving you a start guide so you have a clear idea what we're speaking about. So the thing here is that when we focus on programmatic audio, we're speaking about the automated buying and insertion of ads during digital audio content. This is important. So the programmatic aspect of things just means it's automated. It's like you're not doing things manually. You're really scheduling the buying and insertion of ads in advance during digital audio content. So digital audio content, just to remind you quickly, we're speaking about what? Music, podcast, or digital radio. So buying audio ads programmatically allows brands to access inventory from multiple publishers while also leveraging data and real-time optimization capabilities. And the thing here is that if you are a brand, or let's say you're a media buyer and you want to buy things programmatically, you have the ability to reconcile those two elements that I spoke about earlier. I spoke about geography and I spoke about demographics. But if you do things programmatically, you have a higher chance based on our research, and we've been researching this for the last 30 years now. Based on our research, you have the ability, you have your odds of succeeding in the long run are kind of high. Well, we have seen like 87% increase in ROI if you're using programmatic ad buying to reach your audiences, because again, you are reconciling those two elements of geography and demographics. Okay, and the cool thing here is that when you do things programmatically, you really don't care about seasonality, because things are done in the background to run automatically. So it doesn't matter whether we are speaking about, listeners hearing your ads during a Christmas or during a Thanksgiving, or whether they're listening to it in the summer. Here's a review I really want you to pay attention to. So, why digital audio? What are we talking about here? Well, popularity aside, there are a number of reasons digital audio ad spend will reach like $3 to $4 billion this year, according to several reports. And what's really important to understand here is that a lot of things are changing in the industry. And when we talk about programmatic audio advertising, we're speaking about the fact that digital audio is actually growing. Like the whole concept, the whole industry is growing by leaps and bounds every single year. And the cool thing here is that there are a lot of reasons, but I want to share with you the top 3 reasons why we believe brands are running digital audio ads. Number 1, digital audio reaches consumers where they are. Think about it. It doesn't matter, like the consumer doesn't have to be watching TV or watching a YouTube video. That consumer can be doing anything else. Like the listener can be actually cooking, as I said before. The listener can be actually on his way to go to work, and or she can be at a let's say at a spa chilling, and she's able to actually listen to that audio at whatever they are. So this is kind of cool. So digital audio reaches consumers no matter their location, even if they are on the go. So this is kind of cool. At the gym, commuting to work, on a run, in their car, and so on. So when you think about, the kind of fragmentation we see in the industry today when it comes to reaching consumers, this is a key advantage that digital audio actually brings to the table. So that's particularly key today because consumers are oversaturated with visual advertising. So digital audio helps brands reach consumers even when they're not looking at screens. Okay, imagine how many hours on a day, on average, that a consumer has to watch his or her own smartphone. And imagine on top of that, if they have to listen, if they have to actually, watch a visual ad, this could be a little complicated. So digital audio really, it really fills the gap that we believe that visual advertising is bringing to the table. The second thing I want to talk about here is that digital audio lets brands align with the right content. So when you think about brand alignment or content alignment, I want you to think about the fact that we are in a world right now where content is changing all the time, and you want to reach the consumer not only what he or she is, but you want to bring to him or her the right content. Let me give you an example. If you want to target, let's say, digital audio ads to an 18-year-old male, you're not going to use the same words, the same, I would say the same music, the same sound, the same intonation, the same, like you're going to change things. You're not going to use the same sort of profile if you wanted to reach a 35-year-old female. Okay, it doesn't matter where they are located. We're talking here about demographics. So this is where digital audio really gives you the ability to fragment the market, to segregate the market, so you can serve better ads, more optimized ads, which is really great because in the end, your cost per milli, your cost per your CPC, your cost per click will go down. So if you are able to serve better ads to the right listener, you are going to reduce your cost per acquisition in the long run. So this is kind of cool. So when we talk about digital audio lets brands align with the right content, we're speaking about the fact that with digital audio, brands can connect with consumers when they are in highly specific situations or frames of mind. So to use the gym example from earlier, a nutritional supplement company might run an ad during Spotify's Power Workout playlist. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about programmatic audio advertising. I'm giving you the ins and outs of this technique, and I'm helping you understand really the concept so you can really apply it to your own strategy. And so this is kind of cool. And one thing I want to say here also is that when we talk about having situational display of your ads, I was giving you the power workout example, or perhaps if you have an investment app, your ad might play before a financial planning podcast, which is really sure to have a tuned in, relevant audience. Okay, it's all about situational ad placement. Situational ad placement. I want to talk to you also about the fact that digital audio helps marketers eliminate waste. If you have been in this industry for the last 25 years, as we have been, you know that waste is really important. I mean, I'm talking about unserved digital audio ad, because this is just wasted opportunity, wasted money, wasted resources. You have wasted optimization strategy. So you have a constellation of waste, if you will, a constellation of what we call opportunity failures or opportunity misses that comes with I would say ad waste. And the possibilities, that's what I was just talking to you about earlier when I said with programmatic audio advertising, you don't really care about seasonality, for example, because you plan things in advance, and it doesn't matter whether we are in Thanksgiving, we are in the holiday season, or we are in the summer, or we are like around Christmas. Like, it doesn't really matter. And you can place your ads during Super Bowl or during a Thanksgiving sort of TV session. It doesn't really matter, because you know why? You are doing what we call situational advertising, situational audio advertising. So there's no such thing as an unserved digital audio ad, because ads are only placed when a user is listening to music or a podcast. This is the cool thing. And whereas with digital advertising, there are frequent occurrences of unviewable inventory. That's not really the case with audio. As you know, from if you have certain listeners, when people are listening to, let's say, to podcasts, for example, they are doing stuff. They might be doing something else, like they might be cooking, or they might be maybe watching, like they might be on their way to work, but they are engaged. They are tuned in. I mean, somebody can be cooking and still be listening to a financial podcast. This is totally possible. Something that you cannot do if you are actually listening to, if you are watching a YouTube video, for example. You cannot watch a YouTube video like consciously and intently and still taking care of the meal, the dish that you're cooking. Something that is totally impossible. Okay, so that ability of audio audio content to really connect the listeners is really important to take advantage of. So you are able to have digital audio that helps marketers eliminate waste. Now let me talk to you now about the steps. So how do you buy digital audio inventory? So when we talk about programmatic audio advertising, and the ancillary topic here is digital audio inventory, right? You got to really understand that. And when we talk about digital audio inventory, we are speaking about DSP. Those terms are connected. So DSP, demand side platform. So to buy digital audio ads programmatically, you will need a DSP. You'll need a demand side platform. And basically, a DSP with access to diverse audio inventory will allow you to reach consumers even if, for example, they switch off Pandora and open their Spotify app. In fact, the right DSP would allow you to reach consumers seamlessly across their devices while they're listening to digital audio, certainly, but also when they're watching TV, commuting to work, or catching on the news on their phone without having to switch between platforms. That's what we love a lot. We love a lot when we talk about programmatic audio advertising, because you have the ability to have centrality in terms of platform listening. Something that, again, if I were to contrast this with let's say video advertising, something that's not possible with video advertising. With audio advertising, because we're speaking about sound, the listener does not need to see. The listener does not need to see anything. They are listening. So because of that, they don't have to switch platforms. Okay. And so the cool thing that I want to mention here is that when you are thinking about your digital audio inventory strategy, make sure to go back to what I said earlier. Make sure that you pay attention to your geography and you pay attention to your demographics. Again, that your target audience, your target audience's geography and your target audience's demographics. And it's all about having a native strategy for your ads. And again, it's all about making sure that you are able to raise your brand awareness in the sort of content you are placing. And when we talk about the demand side platform, remember that you want to have a DSP that has access to a diverse audio inventory. If you don't have that diversity, you're not going to enjoy the benefits that programmatic audio advertising brings to the table. You need to have that diverse audio inventory so that you can reach consumers no matter where they are. Let me give you a bonus here before we close on today's conversation. So, what else should you know about digital audio advertising? See, the whole thing here is that when we talk about digital audio advertising, we're speaking about programmatic audio advertising in the sense that you're using a constellation of tools to optimize your audio ad strategy on multiple platforms. So while digital audio is similar in some ways to other kinds of digital advertising, it's unique in others. So in order to get the most value out of your digital audio ads, you want to make sure you understand how to find the right DSP partner or DSP mix and how to measure your audio advertising success. So the cool thing here is that when we talk about we actually have an entire show that will talk about the DSP partners. So you have a clear idea again about that topic. And so you also have you can have a better level of granularity in terms of the features that you should look for when choosing a DSP partner. You got to find the right DSP partner. Again, it can be one partner or it can be a DSP mix. In other words, you are dealing with different DSPs depending on the sort of audio ad campaigns you want to run, or depending on the kind of, let's say, target audiences you want to reach. And when we instill if we sort of inject the element of geography, it becomes a little complex. For example, if you wanted to reach consumers in Europe, for example, versus in Asia, or versus in Africa, versus in Latin America, or versus in North America, then you have this ability to say, okay, we have different geographies here, we have different demographics here, and how do we reconcile those two? This is one of those things that a DSP, the right DSP for that matter, will kind of help you. Can help you with, because you are able to reconcile things programmatically. Again, I want to insist on the word programmatic here because it means that things are done in advance. You don't have to do things manually. You don't have to do things based on the season. So cyclicality doesn't play a role anymore. Seasonality doesn't play a role anymore. What really matters here is that you are scheduling the ads in advance. You are buying and inserting ads in advance based on your strategy, and it doesn't matter what happens afterwards. So overall, if you are thinking about if you want to bring your audio advertising game to the next level, programmatic capabilities will help you a lot, because this is for the long run, and this is something that's not going to go away. You have different parts of the industries that are going to embrace it, and this is just fantastic. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about programmatic audio advertising, and I gave you the overview. I gave you the approach, the review that you need to pay attention to, the steps you need to follow, and the bonus. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.